2013. Can he do it today? SKT1 PartinG! And in the bottom left-hand corner, he needs no introduction. He's the king of weekend-long tournaments, the #1 money-earning player in SC2, SKMC!
The crowd definitely cheering on MC here. And you know, I have to say, if you look at PartinG's PvP results, he's probably the favorite in his mind of that, you know, going by the math and the numbers. But a player like MC doesn't care at all about that.
Yeah.
He's a player who's, it doesn't matter who he's playing, it matters what MC shows up and what MC decides to try to do. Is he gonna kind of try to do some gimmicky builds like he tried against SOS, and that didn't work out too well yesterday.
Yeah,
but
I mean, those games versus SOS just looked bad.
It did. I mean, and that's what happens when you play a style like MC, where you don't think about what's the 100% best way to play. You think, what's the best way to play to your opponent? And if you misjudge your opponent a little bit, it can all of a sudden look really bad. Yeah. But on the other hand, if PartinG is a player I think MC has a lot more history with, there's also a lot more data on PartinG's PvP. PartinG has played almost exclusively PvPs. In the Red Bull map contest on these maps that PartinG won, he played only PvPs for the last 5 rounds. And they were all against players like San, like CJ Hero.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of games MC can say, really figure out PartinG's PvP style, whereas SOS mostly has played other matchups in his past game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even to follow up on what you're saying, I mean, it's one thing, the strategic knowledge to say, oh, I'm going to study you and figure out your moves, but I can't emphasize enough how psychologically relaxing it is to say, okay, I'm pretty sure he goes for a Warp Prism push here. And then he does it, and you're like, oh, thank God, yes, I'm not crazy. And those little reassurances can be tremendously powerful. So it looks like we're seeing, looks like a 2 gateway play coming up out of PartinG. Very common on this map.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a difference here with the gateway time and the extra gateway coming in from PartinG. MC still hasn't shown exactly what he wants to do with his extra resources right now. He's currently boosting the gateway, which means he wants to push that probe out as soon as possible, and then he can tech behind that without PartinG to see what he's up to.
All right, well, looks like we are now seeing the perfect scout timing. And, you know, I talk about this, I think, literally 100% of the time that it happens, because I think it's just the most beautiful example of scout timing. Those probes move out right after the cybernetics core, and they arrive right when the cybernetics core finishes, so you see the maximum amount of information while wasting the least amount of time. So, of course, with our final 4 kicking off the day, we want you to tell us who you think will win Battlegrounds. Go to redbull.com/battlegrounds or redbullvote.com. And a Stargate out of MC. Yes! Walk me through the Stargate play, Axelov.
So, I mean, anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge fan of Stargate in PvP. If you're going to go Stargate, you have to do it as fast as possible, because Stargate does 2 things for you. One, there's sometimes a surprise factor. You get into Oracle or a couple of Phoenixes, and you can get a whole bunch of probe kills with the surprise factor. The second thing, though, is the scouting ability, which is super important because one of the great threats to Stargate play is either a mass Blinkstalker attack or Dark Templar. And you can't really counter both of those, because if you try to go too fast for detection, you could die to mass Blinkstalkers. But if you just build up forces, it's going to be spotted!
Oh my God, PartinG darts right in. This is the cheekiest scout known to man, where you send in the lone mothership core, and then she recalls herself to head back home. Now, Oracle, very common opening. The Oracle now has extra nitro boosters on it, so it can easily harass, but we're also seeing the Twilight Council out of MC as an instant follow-up. Is this his answer to Blink, is getting slower Blink of his own?
You know, I think he originally intended it to be a mind game. I think he was figuring Neon 2 is kind of a bigger map, and he was thinking there's a chance PartinG will also go for Stargate. If we both go Stargate, the odds of him ever thinking about detection is so low, I can do some really tricky build where I go Stargate straight into Dark Templar. But now that it's all been spotted and that kind of mind game thing didn't work out, he is going to go into Blink, but he's going to be a little bit behind in Blink. And you can see PartinG has a few more units here, but there is that Oracle crossing map, and that could do a lot of damage if PartinG doesn't have the right defenses.
Well, both of them have 3 warp gates right now, but there's a 4th gateway also in production for PartinG. It's all going to come down to this mothership core. Keep in mind there's no recall for PartinG yet. SKMC almost has enough to even throw down a 2nd photon overcharge, but it'll be about 100 seconds away. I mean, it's going to have to be all up to this Oracle for MC to stay alive here.
It is. I mean, with proper blink macro, PartinG can really tear his base apart. Just coming in, picking off a unit, picking off the militia core there. In fact, there's not going to be a second photon overcharge.
So this means that MC's only defensive tool is the ramp. He has to hold the ramp. He has to maybe force a bad blink, but of course, PartinG, very unlikely to be pulling that off. PartinG, though, is getting a little bit low on some of the health on those units, but he's not losing any Stalkers. So this means MC is forced to continually warp in more and more and more units, but the Oracle did force in a 3 Stalker warp in at the backside, but PartinG is looking pretty good to win this fight.
Oh, Blink is so powerful against an opponent who doesn't quite have Blink yet. You can see MC was stuck with a time warp where he had to go forward, but going forward meant that he lost a lot of Stalkers to PartinG's Blink Stalkers, and PartinG continues to push in. The Oracle comes back home. It's going to try to do what it can here.
Wow, Oracle actually doing some nice damage, but the Blink control of PartinG is so good. Only now MC has Blink as well. MC's even trying to barely get up a 4th gate of his own.
I mean, he has Blink now, but the problem is just the numbers. PartinG has way too many units, way too fast.
Jeez. Utter annihilation by PartinG. Stutter stepping in. The choice to remove the mothership core guaranteed the inevitable downfall. And in the perfect position, PartinG continues to blink straight into the mineral patch, actually. That's going to allow a nice surround from MC, but even so, it's over. Good game. PartinG takes match number 1.
Wow. And that was just a very convincing, solid style of PvP there. You know, we could see on the poll, people were thinking Skarda, but PartinG is looking really, really strong so far.
Right after Cybernetics Core doesn't work on Frost because you don't know what position he's going to be in. Right now, PartinG leads the series 1-0. Let's see if he's going to bring it to match point with this game 2, or whether MC can tie it up.
I think this is a good map for MC, honestly. How big it is and how easy is the high tech is going to favor MC's more crafty style.
Let's see if PartinG has some trick up his sleeve. Up in the top left-hand corner. If you follow the Pro League, you know he's the same beast he was in 2012. Can he win himself an individual title today? It's SKT1's PartinG! And spawning at the far opposite side of the map. He is the boss toss. He was bested in game 1. If you'd like to see him win in game 2, give a cheer for SKMC.
MC, we're going to see what crafty plan he has for this map.
I like your use of that word crafty. That makes him sound like he's not actually having his hands on the mouse and keyboard, but he's like
crafting. Yeah, he is. You're seeing him play, and you know it's part of the game. It's StarCraft. Craftiness is essential part of the game, and MC is probably the master of that. SOS is actually another player who can be very tricky as well. You can see there people they have a lot of faith in MC, and we're going to see if he can vindicate that faith right here. And of course, if you want to participate in the poll, redbullvote.com.
And you know, my favorite part about the polling is that it's not one vote. You just spam click and it registers all of them.
And that's really in theme with StarCraft, right? StarCraft is a lot about how many actions you can do in a short amount of period of time.
That's
so
right.
You're practicing your StarCraft by voting.
And you know, I mean, since there's nothing exceptionally notable happening at this point in time, we do need to talk about how StarCraft influences your computer use in other walks of life. Like when I have an extra tab open in Firefox and I want to close it, I like spam click it like half a millisecond.
And then you click it again where it would have been, right?
Yeah, and I reopen it, and I close it and reopen it, and close it and reopen it, because I need to stay warmed up. I'm surfing the internet, you know, and then I need to open up a Google Doc, because I got to turn in an essay. Bam! It gets open in seconds, and I type nope and close it.
And you're constantly saving as well, just madly spamming the keyboard. We do see both players are sending out their probes around, and we're going to see if they're up to anything sneaky. You know,
well, you know, there's PartinG throwing down that pylon. It's just as you said, this is a nice map to do those sorts of hidden tech, especially the proxy Stargate, which we're seeing out of PartinG. But notice, PartinG has 2 pylons in his main. He is hiding that there is an excess 3rd pylon. I mean, look at the supply for PartinG. It's at 23 of 34. He didn't need that 3rd pylon for a long time.
Yeah, he didn't do the fastest Stargate possible. He slowed it down by about 10 seconds just to get, like you said, that mind game. If MC scouts him, it's not going to be obvious at all that he's doing that. Now, MC, on the other hand, he has no idea this is coming quite yet. He's just doing a very standard opening, and this isn't a build where it's like, oh, if my opponent doesn't see it coming, I automatically win. Because as long as MC plays safe and has appropriate defenses at home, he should be okay. But again, that probe is denied. He couldn't even get into the main to see anything at all. He at least sort of noticed a lack of a mothership core and a lack of other tech buildings, and it might have given him a hint that this could be coming.
Well, it looks like PartinG is doing an excellent job of spreading out his scouts. We also see that there's that probe down in the bottom left-hand corner. Spotting for PartinG as well, but I'm curious what's going on in SKMC's view. He's not moving out, but he is leaving the mothership core at home.
This is actually a really dangerous thing for MC. He's going for a 3-gate pressure, which means he's going to start moving out right about now, but it's very risky against the Oracle. And oh, look at this, he's not going to see it.
He's not going to see it. He's not going to see it at all. It's sweeping around to the back, and it's going to waltz directly into the main base, and suddenly MC has already lost 2 probes. There's the 3rd one going down. 4 probes fall. How many more will die? 5, maybe even 6 will go down. If this Oracle dies, that'll be a nice pickup for MC, but there's almost no chance with PartinG at the control.
PartinG, such great control there. And, you know, if you're looking at like a 3-base to 3-base, you send in a couple units, kill 6 probes, it's like, yeah, that kind of sucks. It's not that big a deal. But when it's 1-base to 1-base, that represents, you know, somewhere between a 4th and a 3rd of your economy. That's a very huge blow.
Oh, MC spots the Oracle. Instantly throws down the Photon Overcharge. We're seeing some small trades up at the front. MC is getting the far better upper hand of this. It's going to be 4 versus 5, but look at this. There's a pylon at the far left. MC can warp in behind these Stalkers if he's not careful.
And that's exactly what MC wants to do. He knows that he's behind in economy, but he does have a superior Stalker count, at least for the moment. He's pushing forward here. Oh, but the pylon spotted, and PartinG.
It doesn't get it down in time. That means that MC might have an opportunity to corner these Stalkers, to push them back. But look at this, the 3 Zealots heading directly forward. Oh no, MC's losing control of these Stalkers in the center of the map.
But he does have Zealots in PartinG's main. He's doing damage there, trying to even up the economy. PartinG Stalkers are kind of behind enemy lines and losing more and more probes. PartinG can't afford to warp in units. He has to be mining with the probes just to warp in units, but he doesn't have the criminals right now. This could be game over right now as MC takes up PartinG's entire economic basis.
MC needs gas. He needs to throw down the gas. He doesn't have the sentries. He needs more sentries at his front. There's the sentries. They're barely warping in. Will they be able to force field in time? Yes! There it goes down. MC is narrowly staying alive right now. Only 2 probes remain on this map. The Oracle has fallen. I mean, MC is inches away from tying this series up, but he has absolutely no gas mining.
Oh, this is tough for MC. He's mining purely minerals. He doesn't have that many gateways right now either. If he can warp in enough Zealots, if he has Photon Overcharge, he should be okay. He just needs to buy time to get more warp-ins into play.
Oh, he needs to get that mothership core out of there. Get the mothership core out of there. He needs to keep it alive. The Nexus is his key defensive tool at this point.
The probes are coming off the line. MC still with a decent amount of minerals to warp in reinforcements during the battle. His Stalkers were shut out by a great force field by PartinG, and PartinG continues to micro round. Can MC defend? If he does, he's going to win the game, but PartinG has so many Stalkers in his base right now.
4 more seconds, and there's the Photon Overcharge done. Throws it up, an insane defense coming out of MC. PartinG's main is in shambles. There are no probes on this map. These are all the remaining structures for PartinG. MC slowly warping in. He needs to begin mining gas. Even though he's totally stilted on minerals, he has to get the Stalker count up.
He's just trying to warp in Zealot after Zealot. You see 4 Zealots returning home right now. MC, he is only on 7 probes, so his ability to warp in reinforcements actually isn't that good right now. His economy is in shambles as well. MC does have a superior supply by a huge margin. He has so many Zealots on the field, and he has 2 sentries. If he can trap the Stalkers with the 2 good force fields available, then his Zealots can tear into pieces.
Yeah.
But PartinG is going to be wide. He's going to use the mobility of the Stalkers to try to make his advantage work.
Oh, well, it looks like a misstep for PartinG almost traps the Stalkers. There's one guaranteed to go down. MC's looking more and more confident. The Zealots storm up the ramp. Only 5 Stalkers remain, and they do not have a lot of space to micro in. But PartinG is going to try to make it work. He tries to dart around. MC has too many Zealots. That's the good game. Tying it up.
What a great performance by MC there. Blink Stalkers in particular are really good in this map, and so are actually Colossi. The way the ramps go and the way there's high ground, low ground, Colossi are very good in this map. So I'll have to see if we get to that old school standard mid-game composition you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Don't worry, crowd. We'll make sure that your claps are going to align with the introduction of our first player. In the top right-hand corner, mathematical perfections to his build, but will his judgment shine through? SKT1's PartinG! That was so good, crowd. Wonderful to have you here yet again, New York City. In the bottom left-hand corner, the boss toss himself from Team SK. Make some noise for MC.
A lot of support here for MC.
I even see that there's a beautiful sign that has a picture of the letter M and then a photo of the C. Do you get it?
Quite clever. You know, we need more pictures like that.
We really do.
Like that in the crowd. Things like that. You know what? I'm sure MC sees that too. It gives him that extra drive. We'll see if that's going to be enough to pull it through, because PartinG is a fierce opponent.
And PartinG, most of his games are in a more quieter, controlled environment, you know, like in the Golem TV studio or obviously practicing at home. MC, though, is always on the road. He is so used to playing in those booths.
There's definitely something, I think. MC always seems to really shine in these weekend tournaments where you just go in, you're playing all day, you're traveling, and a lot of players, that fatigue kind of gets to them. They're out of their, you know, most comfortable element. But MC, it seems to like energize him when he travels and goes to events. He gets stronger if he's in a different hotel than his home. The computer's set up differently.
Stimulates the brain.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, a new challenge, and it just somehow works out well for him.
Oh, we're already seeing some of those big differences coming out of MC in this game already, who's going for a one-gate, no Zealot opening. We see out of PartinG the usual 2-gate, but there's not. Oh, there's the Mothership Core coming out now for MC. So MC's doing almost the most general build that you can open with. There's very little signals.
You know,
PartinG.
This is the exact same build MC did game 1. And it can lead to anything. You know, we could see if he has the stronger Blink Soccer Micro, or if he's going Stargate, if he's going DT or Fast Expansion. And that's why MC does it. MC is a player, when you're PartinG really wants to know what MC's up to. So MC just chrono boosts out that first Stalker, pushes the Scout away. Meanwhile, he's in PartinG's base. He knows there's no fast tech from PartinG because he's got 2 gateways. There could be tech right now, but the earliest it would start is this instant. Whereas MC prioritized pushing his opponent's Scout away, so his tech could have started 30 seconds ago. Now it turns out he prioritized getting a sentry to make sure he's safe. And they are both going Twilight Council, so we may find out who has the better Blink Stalker control.
I do like this opening a bit from MC's side of things, because I mean everything looks about even, and it's easy to say, oh wow, definitely lead for PartinG, as PartinG is going to have the 3 gates earlier and has more Stalkers. But at the same time, this early sentry is tremendous in PvP. You obviously can throw down a force field if you're getting rushed, but if you don't see a rush, you can hallucinate Phoenix and get the perfect follow-up scout. And the follow-up scout in these opening games is the hardest, in my opinion.
It's absolutely essential. If you don't have the Observer, if you don't have the Phoenix from the Stargate, hallucination's your next best bet. And also, if it gets to a Blink Soccer Mirror, one Guardian Shield can sometimes make a big difference. Now, the Sentry will usually die early, but it can protect. Oh, here comes the Scout from PartinG.
Oh, is he going to lose? Oh!
Wow, look at that timing. And now he knows exactly what he's up against, and so he's going straight to Robo. He's saying, you know what? If we both go headbutts, you know, my mass Blink Stalkers versus your mass Blink Stalkers, I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know if I get the Robo, I'm going to be a little bit safer. There's also a chance he might be going Dark Trine behind that.
Yeah.
So it's just a very safe play from both players here getting that robotics facility.
It's looking to be essentially an identical game. The big question is who's going to be moving out first to gain map control. PartinG does have the Blink lead, but is playing defensively with most of his Blink Stalkers.
And this is a situation where typically we're going to see both players expand.
Yeah.
As soon as they add the Robo and not a 4th gateway, the odds are you're both going to have very similar units. Look at that Hallucinated Oracle, trying to play mind games.
Also a very fast unit.
Yeah. Why not Hallucinated Oracle, right? It's almost the same speed as the Phoenix, and you can throw your opponent off a bit. That was actually really important, that probe scout for MC.
Yeah, didn't see the Nexus down. So now MC's saying, all right, you're likely doing the exact same thing I am, or maybe, just maybe, you're going for 4-gate blink, and I haven't found the 4th gateway yet. So MC's going to be playing relatively defensively, might expand, but I don't think that we're going to see anyone move out too aggressively. Even this huge push that we're seeing out of PartinG is almost defensive in nature.
There is going to be a moment when the two stock armies collide, and that's when it's going to be blink on blink. We're going to see which player has a little better control. But if the game kind of drags on, ooh.
Oh, that poor stalker.
That could have been a risk if it was caught outside. Here we are. PartinG's trying to push up, but he immediately backs away. Seeing his opponent as an equivalent force, you don't want to try to force yourself up a ramp and in a poor tactical position. And instantly see PartinG's expanding behind us, which is just the perfect play when you say, okay, my opponent's on one base, he's doing the same thing I'm doing, we're just going to expand. Yeah,
very simple play. I'll push you back with my Blink Stalkers and expand behind it, and you look at the production. No more gateway units coming up, just Immortals for PartinG. It is the classic standard defense in this matchup. And now MC is the one really on the ropes. I mean, he's building up his 2nd Immortal. He's likely just going to expand himself, but his Nexus is behind. What do you do in MC's shoes to try to step back in this situation?
I mean, one of the most important things is not to get too concerned about having the later Nexus. Because, yes, you're a little bit behind, but your worker counts, as long as you non-stop build workers, should be fairly even. But we do see PartinG's done a little bit more job of being on top of probe production. But it is a situation where, okay, if you're 5, 6 probes behind, as long as you constantly produce, your opponent may cut probes because they might get scared of an attack if they can threaten attack. And also, both players will reach at 2-base saturation. So one of the best things to do is just keep macroing, but posture aggressively.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to commit to attack against PartinG, who he's cranking out Immortals like a maniac, even as a Sentry 2 of his own. Defensively, PartinG is going to be very solid. But if you can scare him, you can maybe get him to cut. Cut his economy a bit, and you can catch right back up.
As a follow-up, we see some great moves coming out of PartinG. Getting the Forge before any other tech. This matchup is all about late game. The amount of damage you gain from a +1 attack, I mean, it's +5 damage for the Immortals, plus a variable amount for the Archon, at least for the ish, given that they do the bonus damage to Zealots. And of course the Colossus getting +4. I mean, there's so much damage potential there. Oh no! PartinG got a little overeager. This is what you were talking about. You posture aggressively. You don't force aggression to happen. This is the opportunity that MC needed, but he is getting surprisingly few Stalkers. Never mind, he's going to get 1, 2 taken down likely right away.
Oh, a misblink by PartinG a bit is going to allow MC to pick up another Stalker or 2 here.
Oh no. Oh my god, absolutely perfect play right now. Out of MC, just executing those, and he's going all the way in.
This is a very, very aggressive motion here. Now, PartinG with his Immortals should be okay defensively, but MC is going to have the advantage because he has a stronger army in the field. So right now, MC can be as greedy as he wants behind us, and because he has the Stalker advantage, he has total mobility. So there's a trick here where what you can do is you can threaten your opponent to front. Looks like he's going to go for it, actually. No charge goes down.
I don't
MC
believe it.
is not scared.
I mean, what a move from MC. He's convinced that he has the edge. He's target firing down PartinG's Immortals, and there are no more Immortals for PartinG, except for this one barely trying to make its way down the ramp. The force fields have now dissipated. A kill sequence from MC, exploiting the blunder of PartinG at the perfect time. The probes are coming off. The economy lead from PartinG is going to be shattered.
Wow, PartinG looks like he may be pushing this back, but there's still 2 Immortals from MC. He's marking them well, but now there's Zealots in the front. Those Zealots are pretty tough. PartinG is forced back, but has he survived this onslaught?
I mean, right now it's 37 probes versus 27 probes versus 30.
So the worker counts are very even, but MC continues to push forward. He takes out the Photon Cannon. His Immortal goes down, though, and now PartinG has an Immortal of his own. There's no Photon overcharge. MC continues to push forward, but the Immortal is dishing out so much damage. MC trying to go for it. He's focusing down that Immortal. Can he get it?
He wants it so badly. I mean, it would be a nice momentum swing back, but this is exactly what MC wants. What's MC picking up during this time? Probe lead. Tons of probes going down, and there's 2 key pieces missing to PartinG's army. He obviously needs the Immortals to hold off any kind of attack and for the late game, but the Stalker count for PartinG is very low too. That means there's no mobility for PartinG. It means that if PartinG wants to be able to defend against blink attacks that go into his main, he has to spend a ton of extra resources on those 2.
And this is a situation where you can't afford to make more Blink Stalkers at this point in the game because the armies are starting to involve Immortals, players can be going up to Colossi, and at that point, Blink Stalkers, the mobility is fun, but if you spend too much resources on mobility and your opponent has a much stronger army, you're just going to lose the direct engagement. So you can see both players here focusing on Zealots, focusing on Immortals. Now, PartinG is behind in the probe count right now, but he does have 4 gas available. He has the Forge, and he has the robotic support bay. So if he can feel confident enough to start mining the gas, he has a greater potential to build up a high-tech armory. But MC, I think he realizes this. He saw 4 gases from his opponent. He says he's going to be teching up.
So clever. Yeah, I mean, this is a play that you can only make if you're on the level of MC. To be able to detect, 4 gas means you're probably going to be followed back on some high-tech play. So I'm going to kill you right away. This is an extremely daring move from MC and an expensive move at that.
It's a very, very bold move here. The question is, can PartinG make the comeback? Now, all PartinG has to do is survive MC's attack. They'll be coming in about a minute, and he's actually going to be ahead. The thing is, that's easier said than done. Look at the production tab right now. We have Thermal Lance. There's 400 resources being spent on that, plus 2 weapons. We have 350 resources being spent on that, or 300. It's so many resources that aren't going to be an army. He's going to have to throw down a lot of photon cannons.
PartinG is timing his blinks so well. He's waiting for MC to blink first, and then PartinG's blinking in response. Very, very hard play to make by PartinG, but he's doing it so well.
PartinG here is actually moving out, and this could be his downfall. PartinG hasn't realized that MC has cut probe production and has gone full into mass warp gates. And so if PartinG moves out and gets stuck fighting in the open, in an open engagement, MC's Blink Stalkers can circle around and get the advantage. And now PartinG, I think he's figured out, he's starting to back up a bit. If he can get out enough Colossi and position them defensively, that may be what he needs to hold us off. Look at this, he's warping in 3 more centuries, realizing that MC is so gateway heavy. Force fields are what PartinG needs to defend this.
Yeah, but I mean, already wasting a couple right there. Zealots being warped in 6, 7 at a time. Pylons are going to be the biggest expense for MC. He's moving up the ramp. He's charging in. Now is the time where MC's going to try to close it out.
But look how PartinG's hiding behind the Nexus. This is so it's harder to focus on the Colossi. MC realizes this, says if you're going to bunker up, I'm going to blink straight into the main.
This is pure tactical abuse. People think about this map as being good for blink in the opening, but MC knows it's good all game long. He's continuing to try to shove in here, reduce the Stalker count. More time warps going down. Oops, MC loses the mothership core and decides now to push the front. Great force fields.
Oh, look at the defense from PartinG. The Colossi behind the force fields, photon overcharge. So much damage output is going on with MC. MC's trying to focus on the Nexus, it looks like. He can get it? He's staying Immortals on it, but the probes are coming out to protect.
Immortals are getting very, very low, and there the Nexus goes down. But PartinG has a tremendous lead. PartinG has so many more units. I mean, all the Blink Stalkers died in the main base. All the Zealots died at the front. MC doesn't even have gas at his expansion to hope to stay alive. And now PartinG's going to try to make a Doom push, and MC does what everyone loves to do. Builds a Dark Shrine.
That's exactly what he needs to do. He's read the situation to say, you know what, there's no way I can beat PartinG's army. It's unbeatable right now. With the losses I've suffered, his army is too strong. MC's going to try to counterattack to force the base trade. If you can kill PartinG's robotics facility, all of a sudden there's no observer for PartinG anymore.
There it is. There's the Colossus falling down. MC's going to have to dart up. He has to pick off the Robo. He's got to pick it off right now, and let's see if PartinG recognizes what's going on in this scenario. Nexus is going to fall.
PartinG has no observer. He has no observer on the map.
There's no observer on the map.
Oh, this could be disastrous for PartinG.
40 seconds remain.
If he can spot the Dark Shrine, he can kill before it completes. He spots it!
And he sees it. A devastating blow to MC in this situation. Blinks right on top of that. There's nothing that MC can do. It gets canceled. Will MC try to rebuild it in a hidden location?
Now, I don't think MC can afford to it. He's pretty much bankrupt. Both players are very low. PartinG has enough actually to build a Nexus. He can build a decent amount of units. So PartinG can rebuild. How many probes? PartinG has 6 probes on the map. They're hiding in MC's natural. MC had 0. And PartinG has a stronger army. So PartinG can be very cool and collected and just proceed to kill MC's main and then just defend the Nexus he builds. Now, MC does have 15 Blink Stalkers. So if he can find an opening, maybe he can try to pick away at PartinG.
Every one of these games has been insane.
Notice how both players went straight for the Nexus, because as soon as you kill your Nexus, that puts your opponent on a timer, and then if they don't build another Nexus, they'll be revealed. And one of the most important things to know in the base race situation is, does my opponent have another Nexus or not?
And this is a very telling move that we're seeing out of PartinG. He builds a robotics facility because he's that worried about Dark Templar. Of course, it's not the sensible move right now because obviously PartinG doesn't even have enough supply to start an observer.
He's going to have to mine for quite a bit until he has enough. A Forge may have been a better bet there, actually, because then he could have, mined a little bit, had built one cannon at this base. Although with 15 Blink Stalkers, they could probably dive it. Now, MC, I think, realizes exactly what's going on. He has Observer. He's been checking around the map. And MC's now, he's scrambling in his head. He's saying, okay, my opponent's army is stronger, but I do have a few more Blink Stalkers, so mobility, I have the advantage. And I know exactly where he's doing, right? I mean, I have my Observer on top of his army. I know if he makes any moves. But what can I do to win this game now? He's just going to camp the Nexus. And what is MC's response to PartinG just sitting on this space and defending it?
Well, I mean, there's a huge dilemma for MC because he doesn't have high ground vision. So he can't see up. He can always throw forward a single Blink Stalker to get some extra vision and then blink around that, but you can't afford to sacrifice a Blink Stalker right now. The Zealot's killing off the last pylon on the top side. Now it means MC has to charge forward aggressively. There's a little bit of a window where nothing's going to change. It's only going to be pylons for PartinG.
You know what MC can do here? The only way is he could potentially force a draw if he can kill all the probes. That's his goal. If he can kill the probes and keep some Stalkers alive. So maybe if the Zealot's coming in as a distraction, he kills all PartinG's probes. PartinG can't build more probes. He's supply blocked. He has no minerals. So if he can kill the probes and then keep his Stalkers around enough to threaten a counterattack, that could be maybe an option he goes for. But PartinG has 12 Blink Stalkers of his own. So if MC even loses a few Blink Stalkers, all of a sudden PartinG not only has a stronger army to straight up engagement, but also the more mobile army.
Oh, there's the GG. Observer from MC spots the army and says, no way. I think is the one going to be doing the tricky plays. It looks like our game 4 has loaded up. After 3 games, we are now at match point, which means PartinG can close it out right now. In the top left-hand corner, was up against the ropes, base trade after base trade. He's managed to pull the lead from SKT1. It is PartinG! And down in the bottom left-hand corner. He loves those timing attacks, but he needs the follow-through to tie it up. From SK, it's the boss toss, MC! Man, this front row is hype.
They love the boss toss.
Oh, they actually are holding up signs that say front row, best row. That's my kind of person, someone who brings a sign that just says, me, yeah, me. Not any of the players, myself, hell yeah. Now, it looks like the poll is a very reasonable question. Who's more likely to open Dark Templar? I would personally give the favorite heavily to PartinG in this circumstance because he's the one who likes to do the extreme tactic opening straight into really normal play. And Dark Shrine is a great opening in order to do that.
We'll see if he chooses to go down that route. Whirlwind is probably the best map in this map pool to go for the fast expansion openings. The natural is so easy to defend. There's only one spot the Stalkers can blink from where your potential third would be into your main, and you can, as long as you anticipate that move, you can come back to defend fairly easily. So I do think we may see one of these players opt for that. Of course, one way to combat that is to do something really aggressive. Try to get Dark Templar out super fast, or try to do some crazy, very heavy gateway pressure early on. So one of these players may try to anticipate an expansion and try to take advantage of it in some way.
One of a really strong example of that aggression is like 3-gate pushes. What we saw MC try to do on Frost works very nicely on this map. You shove your opponent all the way back, and you expand behind it. You can do any follow-up from there. Stargate even, Robo. PartinG and MC both have 3 in each of their geysers, and we see no Zealot out of either of them. And this is interesting from PartinG, a very fast third pylon at that backside hints that he wants to be a little bit on the aggro, or not aggro I should say, but the producing of all the basic unit sides, so it does look like it's going to be a 1-gate expand out of PartinG.
We do see that Sentry coming out, and that's almost a dead giveaway that it is an expansion or Dark Templar, but there's no Twilight Council down yet, so it's more likely to be the expansion build, just because if you get that Sentry early out, your defenses are so strong, and you have all these extra minerals. So we can do the extra minerals, you're either going to tech fast, or you're going to, of course, go for that Nexus. Now, MC is actually going straight for Twilight Council. So what his intentions are with that, we'll have to wait and see. And there goes the Nexus from PartinG.
It should be a Dark Shrine for this map. That is the appropriate play that people would label for this map. There it is, going down. Looks like everyone who just said that MC is going to go Dark Shrine has exceptional clairvoyance in this position. Way to go, guys.
Now, PartinG is doing this Mothership Core Scout again. This is something he's been doing consistently throughout the series.
It's a Stargate out of PartinG.
Ooh, this is tricky. This is a very bold opening by PartinG, going Nexus into Stargate. And the thing about it is, you see how he's much more timid with his scouting? Because he doesn't want to use a recall.
Yeah, you can't. You have to. The only way that this one gate expand works is if you do have a photon overcharge. So it's a very tenuous scout.
And the fact that he was unable to scout going Stargate. Now, if he goes Oracle first, he can still be okay. Oracles can use Revelation to reveal Dark Templar. But it's hard to make the call to go Oracle first. Now, right now, this hallucinated Phoenix being sent out from PartinG is so important. This Phoenix needs to get this kind of information done to tell him that he needs to either get 2 Oracles or keep his Oracle back at home.
So there is the Phoenix moving in, and it sees the Dark Shrine.
Oh, what an absolutely great scout from PartinG. Now he knows, instead of sending Oracle out to attack, we'll keep it at home for Revelation, adding in a Robo, and he just has to go full defensive mode, and he knows, I'm facing a 1-base opponent, I have 2 bases, I have the right tools to defend the detection, I just have to make sure my defense is absolutely spotless.
Well, there are some potential attacks that can knock this down, but I love the way MC's playing this out. 1 Dark Templar, and not a lot else. Moves up the ramp, he gets trapped, and it will be a kill on one of the sentries. That's a pretty fair trade, to be honest. You've wasted the Oracle, you've wasted the energy on 2 force fields, and you've killed a sentry, all for the cost of a single DT, and Dark Templar are going to be useful all game long.
They will. This is a situation where, for the rest of the game, PartinG has to make sure at every location that's important to him, everywhere he has probes, everywhere his army is, he needs to have some form of detection there. And as the game goes on, it becomes more and more expensive. So Dark Templar, currently, because MC opened it before expansion, he's going to be a little bit behind in economy. But you can see here, PartinG, for a while, up until he spotted the expansion of his opponent, he was scared that it could have been Dark Templar into 4-gate Archon Stalker Zealot push, which sometimes happens against a fast expansion. But now that he's realized it's not, he's gone back to probe production. But because he was so afraid of that attack, he's actually not that far ahead in economy.
Absolutely. All undoubtedly true. I mean, even the probe counts reveal that it's 36 to 31. Normally that's a pretty notable differential, but gas is the huge focus, much less on minerals. And right now, we see Hallucinated Phoenix, we see the aggressive Oracle. Both players are trying to find out, what is my enemy's gateway count? Because if it's just at 3, you can hold off almost anything just with a photon overcharge and your normal units. So if you keep seeing just 3 gateways, you're going to begin teching, you're going to get a forge, you're going to get a robo facility. We see immortals coming out. And this is where we oftentimes see a 3rd base. I mean, PartinG is actually, looks like he will be gearing up to take a 3rd if he continues to spot no extra gateways.
PartinG's going straight for the support facility and the upgrades. Now, here's a difference. MC is not going straight for the Colossi. He's instead going for Blink. And getting a later Blink like this is interesting because it's not as expected, so sometimes you can get the surprise damage, but it also means that as the mid-game develops, MC is going to have a weaker standing army in a straight-on engagement.
Yeah.
But Whirlwind's a huge map, so as players take 3rd... Oh, look at this! MC almost catches out the Oracle, and he does get it! And that's a nice win because that's a threat that can pop it into spaces at any moment and kill a ton of probes, and now that that's dead, he can breathe a little bit easier.
CMC starting to warp in some Zealots. Very surprising choice. Looks like he's gearing up to try to consider some counters. You know, things I love about PartinG, just the standard strength. Far up in the top right, we see that there's a pylon. Nowhere even close to a base of MC, but it's the fact that it's out of the way that makes it so strong. It can be a very slow but very critical Zealot counterattack in the late game. So we're seeing the charge come down for MC. They're both getting more gateways. I mean, what's your read on who's ahead right now?
Personally, I really favor PartinG's position. I like the Colossi, the stronger composition, but it's basically a clash of styles. And PartinG is so good at using Colossi. We saw in that last game, even though he fell so far behind early, just give him 2 Colossi and some forts with and make magic happen. MC has more mobile competition. He has the Blink Stalkers. Now MC could try to use this to take a much faster third base, but he hasn't grabbed that third yet. And if they both sit on 2 bases for too long, the Colossi count will just get out of control.
I mean, it's these 6 Zealots that I see for MC that really ain't doing too much. That could have been the much faster Nexus, but both players giving each other a lot of respect. We see cannons going down all across the bases for PartinG. He's having to spend money that may very well never even be used. Another cannon going down in the main base of PartinG. Wow.
PartinG's definitely, what he's doing is, it's not just to stop Dark Templar. In his main, he's also very aware that right now, if a player ends up a Blink Stalkers in the mid-game, it's very popular to grab 4 to 5 Stalkers, sneak them into your opponent's main at some random point in the game, and just focus down probes.
Yeah.
And that's something that gives value to Blink Stalkers, where in a direct engagement, they don't have quite the same value that the other combat units do. And that's something why he's saying, you know what, I'm going to get 2 Photon Cannons, just to make sure if he tries to do some Stalker shenanigans, focus down a cannon, then sneak in Dark Templar, I have the backup cannon there as well. So very meticulous defensive play from PartinG.
God, PartinG is just, I would almost call him just light years ahead right now. I mean, the fact that his supply is mostly Colossus. There's no third Nexus down for MC still. I mean, I just don't see an advantage for MC at this point.
I mean, the only advantage he has is that Dark Templar Shrine could kick in. And the fact that he's actually not too far behind. I mean, yes, PartinG has an edging Colossi, but with the Blink Stalker map control MC has, there's really no effective way for PartinG to cross the map and kill MC. And over the next couple minutes, MC, he's getting a second Robo, he's getting Thermal Lance, so he'll be able to catch up in Colossi count. He's also grabbing a third Nexus, so he's really relying on the map control the Blink Stalkers are giving him right now to try to keep PartinG on the defensive for the next few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to see a much earlier third. I mean, the question is, if PartinG attacks right now, what can MC do about it? I mean, in the Stalker, in the Colossus count, it's 3-1. Immortal lead does go to PartinG. Archon lead to PartinG. I mean, all the edges seem to be in PartinG's favor. The only thing that's going for MC is that Stalker count.
And that's something that's not particularly viable in a straight-on engagement. PartinG, he senses the moment of weakness. He's crossing the map. He wants to deny MC's third. Now, MC could cancel the third and defend his natural. The natural ramp is pretty easy to defend with Photon Overcharge and Time Warps. He should defend his natural. The question is MC willing to sacrifice his third base, or is he going to try to save it? Looks like he's positioned to try to defend this ramp.
Oh, he's moving down. There's the blink to try to catch the Colossus off guard, and it is absorbing a lot of Colossus shots, but I mean, the Colossus from PartinG are just in the most amazing position. The Zealots from PartinG also breaking through. All the edges going in the favor of the SKT-1 Protoss. A little bit of micro, too, trying to land those Immortals right by the Colossus. Looks like might barely be able to pick off this one Immortal, but loses the Colossus. Yes, there it goes down. PartinG is just smashing down the front with superior fundamental play.
You can see tons of Zealots pouring in here from PartinG. He has an overwhelming army advantage, not even going for the third Nexus. Says, I want to go straight for the throat, going for MC's natural. MC trying to do what he can with a single. Oh, now he has 2 Colossi, but there's charge on those Zealots, and they are vicious guys with that charge upgrade.
As much as MC tries to micro, he's lost every probe at his natural expansion. War Prism from PartinG warping in more. I mean, PartinG is just looking unstoppable at Battlegrounds.
MC now is just trying to basically recognize his fate come.
There it is. GG. The first finalist is SKT-1's PartinG. A well-deserved win. I mean, succeeded in early aggression battles, succeeded in base trades, and there succeeded in long-term basic play.